Hello, beautiful people.
I'm Bryn.
And I'm Miranda.
And you're listening to
the Esty Besties podcast.
We are estheticians based out of Delaware trying to navigate our early 20s in the world of aesthetics, business, beauty, and wellness. We're grinding every day to live the life that we want.
We started this podcast to create a chill and inspiring environment to chat about everything from lifestyle, careers, beauty, spirituality, and story times from our day-to-day lives as estheticians and entrepreneurs.
This podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.
But follow our official Instagram and TikTok at Esty Besties Podcast.
And follow our individual Instagrams at DeCourcy Beauty Lounge and at DeCourcy Beauty.
And at MKM Beauty Bar. Grab your coffee or wine, depending on what time of day you're listening.
And let's get into the next episode. Okay, we are back with another Esty Power Hour today.
Our favorite kind of episodes.
Ooh. So today we're going to get into a lot of Esty topics. Again, some specific topics today are going to include deciding your value, finding your lane as an esthetician, building a strong team, and the importance of continuing education, along with a few other good stuff we're going to throw in there.
It's going to be really fun, and this is going to be an awesome episode for anybody who is either already in or super interested in entering the beauty industry. In particular aesthetics, but we love our cosmos too.
Yeah, even I feel like this podcast can also appeal to people that might be, trying to find their lane in general, just don't have their career path yet. Maybe we can give you some inspo.
There you go.
So first we're going to start with a little cheers. Cheers me.
I'm impressed that my coffee is actually full in the beginning of this episode.
Well, we can't lie and say it's not your second cup.
Yeah, I know. You're right.
Can't lie to him. Okay. So we're going to start out today by talking about deciding your value, knowing your worth, important in just like the general industry of life.
Serving industry.
But
service.
definitely in the service industry.
Right.
I guess the number one thing that you're going to look into when you're talking about deciding your value is really going to come down to like the pricing of your services.
Right.
Other than that, like it's more like self-worth value and things like that, which we work on, outside of the workplace. But right now we're going to talk about specifically setting your pricing and being able to stand on it and not being like insecure about what price that you're coming up with and being able to be like, this is my price, this is what I charge. And
to stand on it and to be confident with it.
And
because at the end of the day, as a service provider, you're not just charging for what you're giving to your clients, you're charging for their experience, what you're giving to them personally. So it's 100% all based off of what you value as yourself.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it changes per person. There's also some like societal factors that go into it, such as like your demographic, where you live, what services you're providing and things like that. But in this industry, it's important to know like the general pricing that people are offering, kind of like the general vibe where it starts. And then from there deciding, okay, am I offering, a little extra? Am I offering, am I more of a beginner, whatever. So starting off, setting your pricing can be super, super nerve-wracking.
Intimidating.
Yeah, very intimidating. I think it helps sometimes when you go into a salon and they already have set pricing because you're not necessarily like in charge of creating it and people can't give you a hard time about it. But in like your solo esthetician career, it's all up to you and people are gonna
you're the only factor there.
Exactly. And people might give you a little more kickback when it's just you. I wanted you to just give a little bit of your like experience. I remember in the beginning, there was you and Maria were here at the same time. You were both doing lashes. And I remember you said you weren't necessarily comfortable with increasing your prices right away to what she wanted to increase the prices with. You guys were both junior artists, so we had to be on the same page. You were like a little more hesitant about it.
I definitely was. And
where did that come from?
That mainly just came from, I was worried about what my clients were going to think. But I did learn my lesson that if the clients love your work, they're literally going to pay anything, especially if they love coming to you in particular. But I was definitely nervous at first to raise my prices, mainly because I had the same prices for a long period of time. Before I even joined DeCourcy Beauty Lounge, I was doing full sets for $60, which is kind of mind-blowing for me to say now, but to jump to that to over $100. And then that was steady because I had my old clients grandfathered in, and then I had new clients coming in at that price. So I felt comfortable. But it definitely took me a minute to learn that my value was worth more than that. What I was giving my clients was worth more than that. And it was definitely thanks to Bryn to like drill that into my head.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just need someone to tell you like, hey, you're worth it. Like, you are worth that price. We've had a few clients, even this past year, come to us and say, you guys really need to be charging more. And like, to hear that is almost shocking sometimes. I don't know, like, necessarily. I think some people are just saying it to be like cute and nice, like, oh, you just you should be charging more.
Most people do mean it.
But there's truth to it. Yeah, there's truth to it.
Definitely, especially if they've had experience at somebody else's salon, and they're like, you're charging the same as them. Exactly.
Yes.
They're like, wow, we're getting so much more here. Like, you guys have a coffee station, you have snacks. Look at the atmosphere. Like, they remind us of our value. We love our clients for that.
Yeah, love them. It's really about knowing like what you're bringing to the table, what you're offering your clients, and then, like we said, being able to stand on it, being able to be confident in that. So one way to do that, I recommend everyone to do, is once you set your ideal price, calculate like your income cap, what you can make by doing X amount of services. So at your max clients in a day, how many clients, let's say you do lashes, how many lash clients could you realistically see in a day? For me, max 5. Like, I couldn't, max 5 that's like all I have time for, all I have energy for, or else I'm dead. So max 5. So then you take 5, then I work 4 days a week. So then I'm, 5 times 4. Then you calculate that based off of your current pricing, and you're able to see the max that you could possibly make from doing that service at that price. And if you're not happy with it, readjust. Like, if you're not, you got to look at those things, look at the bigger picture and see what your cap is.
Look at the numbers.
And then also look at like the minimums. Also look at, okay, if I'm going to do minimum 1 client a day, this is X amount I have to make, whatever. You gotta, it's definitely something that's super personal to everyone, but making sure you're able to like calculate those numbers and see like, am I gonna be able to live off of this? And am I selling myself short?
Yeah, exactly. Because you also have to include your overhead pricing, especially if you're your own entrepreneur and you're in charge of getting your own supplies and bringing in what your clients need. Gotta factor that in.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot. So first, calculate your income cap at your current pricing. Another way to decide your value is, once you get to a certain point, you're able to kind of choose your clients to a certain extent. You can't fully just be like, you're my client, you're my client, you're my client. Right. But being able to have that confidence with your pricing, your ability to service, your customer service, all of that stuff, and being able to say, you know what, you might not be the right fit for me as a client.
Yes.
It's hard.
And something I've learned recently too is your pricing draws in a certain clientele. Somebody who charges $60 for a full set of lashes draws a completely different clientele than somebody who charges $200,
Totally. I think that's really the main thing that I think we've clicked by being here and by increasing our pricing and by attracting the clients that we really, really want to attract, is realizing like, you have to put out a certain type of energy to get those clients back.
Oh, 100%. And we've done such a good job at that. Like, I've noticed every single employee here at DeCourcy Beauty Lounge, we're all so nurturing and we pay attention to detail, and we just all have that in common. And we attract clients who are literally the exact same. Like, so many of our clients are just nurturing and kind, and it really is what you put out is what you get back.
First, you're just like, whoever's going to come to me, whoever's going to pay, like, I'm happy with whoever's going to come to me. At first, that's like normal. And that's okay. That's how you have to build. We always say like the turmoil of like your first year or two of being an esthetician is like a lot, because you're going to deal with a lot of clients, maybe due to the fact that you have lower pricing as a beginner, whatever, and not as much confidence. You're going to attract some clients that, maybe are just coming because of the price, or maybe are, XYZ. You got to be able to roll through the motions and know that it's just a phase.
It's the first step. Yeah, it's the first step you have to go through. But as you build your client book and as you learn more about your value and how you handle yourself with your clients, you can start kind of being a little nitpicky. Not to the point where like, oh, I don't like how this girl's dresses, so I'm not going to make her my client.
No, we're not talking that.
We're not judging here. It's more of the vibe that your client brings to you, or if that client is physically or mentally draining. That's a big differentiate. Like
I have such good clients. I love my clients so much. I've developed friendships with so many of them. I have like 2 to 3 clients right now where I have literally anxiety when I have them that day. And I'm like getting to that point where I'm like, I don't need to keep seeing you as a client if you're giving me anxiety, because whatever it is, maybe they come in and they're super loud, or maybe like they have an attitude, or they're always complaining, like whatever the thing is that's throwing you off or giving you anxiety, like it's okay to cut someone off. It's okay to break up with a client.
To save your own mental health.
Yeah, because some people are just never going to be satisfied. They're never going to be happy.
Yeah.
They like to complain. So like, it's okay to break up with a client.
And also remember that just because that client wasn't meant for you doesn't mean that they're not meant to get that service in general. They're going to find a service provider that suits them, that fits their personality more. It's just not you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It is a really personal thing.
It
like
is.
It's like you go to an Italian restaurant and you want sushi, you're not gonna get get good sushi. Like it's just the same thing. You gotta find like who you really vibe with. Like you gotta know where you're going. So breaking up with a client, we've had some experience with this, not too much. Like
we've been very lucky with that. We haven't had to go through that turmoil often, but we've been through it.
We've been through it.
And in the beginning for us, it was a little rough because our personality type is very people pleaser.
Very passive.
We're passive. We care.
But we've also gotten a lot better at being able to do that. Like, for example, in the past, we may have like gone back and forth with a client. Let's say a client sends you a paragraph about like XYZ, like
just complaints,
whatever. Like, I could go into detail, but just stupid stuff, like literally stupid stuff. A year ago, we were just talking about this morning. A year ago, Miranda and I would have gone back and forth with them. We would be like, not back and forth in like an argumentative way, but like trying to please
accommodate
them. Like we'd be like, okay, if this is your problem with this, here's my solution to fix it, and blah blah blah. And now we're just at the point where we're like, if you have these complaints that are out of our control, it might be that you're, just too picky or whatever the case may be.
They just don't want to be
like,
pleased.
Yeah, we're just never going to make you happy. And I don't want to like bend myself over, run myself into the ground trying to satisfy you when I know like you may be able to go somewhere else and maybe
be happy.
Like, I don't know. I don't take it personal anymore.
But we used to.
I used to like cry about it.
No, literally. Because we want to please everybody. And we want our clients to have the best experience. But we definitely surely learned that some people just don't want that.
Yeah.
And they're just going to continue bringing in negative energy. And I'm very blessed that we've come to the point where we can break up with our clients and not worry about losing income because of it. Because we know that we're going to attract somebody else.
It'll fill the space for someone else. It'll empty up the space so that someone new can come in.
Yes.
Someone that's happy and someone that is, satisfied with the things that we can provide to them.
Exactly.
And I think that all comes back to knowing like what value you bring and what value you're offering to your clients and your peers around you. And I think that that's the whole underlying theme of like deciding your value, setting your value, is knowing your worth, knowing what you have to offer, and being able to, show
but also
it.
You have the power to choose what you want to offer to people. You can offer bare minimum. You can offer just a simple, clean atmosphere. You get the service. The clients are in and out. Some clients want that,
Totally.
Other clients want the full package.
Totally.
They want to be catered to. They want to be comfy underneath a blanket. They want to have a lash snap. Like
it's so true. There's like so many different lanes that you can go. But yeah, all going back to like what do you want? What's your value that you desire to bring to the table?
And remember, whatever you put out is what you get back. So this kind of brings us to what kind of lane you want to go into this industry.
What's your niche?
Yeah, your niche. What do you want to bring to the table? What do you want clients to, when they think about your business, what are the key factors you want them to mention about your business? What do you want them to have in mind when they think about you? We actually did dabble on this a little bit in our first Esty Power Hour. I believe that's episode 2, so definitely go check that out, but we're going to go a little bit more into detail with that.
In that, we just talked about, we kind of broke down Esty types as far as like caricatures in a way. You have your holistic Esty, you have your medical Esty, you have those type of Esties, but it goes a little bit deeper as far as like what services do you want to specialize in. Like it's all great to find your overall niche, like the type of person you are. Are you a girly girl? Are you a tomboy? Are you gonna, do sound healing, energy healing? Are you going to like, there's so many lanes to choose from, but really narrowing it down. For example, if you're a skin specialist, do you specialize in chemical peels, lymphatic massage, dermaplaning? Like,
True.
what exactly is your selling point?
Every skin specialist offers a facial, but there's a million different things that can go into a facial. So what do you want your clients to?
Yeah, like what do you want them to experience, and what do you want them to get out of it? So if you want to specialize in like acne healing or something more in the medical side where you're doing like full result driven work physically, or do you want to go more of like a healing route, and it doesn't have to be frou-frou, it can be lymphatic drainage massaging and like some really deep tissue stuff and whatever. And some people will come to you they'll come back for the massage. That's what they taught us in school, was like majority of the selling point that you get for your clients on facials is the massage. So if you can specialize, go for it. If that's what you like, dive into it.
And I feel like that there are two really big umbrellas when it comes to which lane you want to choose as an esthetician. There is the strictly result driven, which is more of the medical side. And then there is more of the focus on experience, which it's still result driven. Like you still want to give your clients the results and give them solutions to their skin issues, but you focus more on the experience, and that comes from what the client is smelling, what they're feeling, the massage, how comfy they can be, if you can get them out of their fight or flight or not. And
I wanted to just throw this in there the other day. I did a 90-minute energy healing facial, and I was doing acupressure on her, and she told me that she saw colors. She saw the auras going in her eyes. She said she hadn't felt that in years. She was into energy work in the past, but like hearing that was just so rewarding to me. And it clicked in that moment that I feel more satisfied by making someone feel that way, energetically free, energetically unblocked, like whatever it is. I feel so much better as far as facials than I'd still feel amazing getting like a peel result. Like I still feel satisfied by that, but my personal niche like falls more in like the inner and outer work. Like it's like a combination of the two.
It's the holistics. Holistic is not just focusing, more holistic aesthetics is not just focusing on the skin, but focusing on the body as a whole. Because if you think about it, your skin is your largest organ, and every single part of your body correlates with your skin. There's a lot of holistic estheticians that say like your skin is like a storyteller. It tells you exactly what's going on inside of your body. So focusing on healing somebody energetic, like Bryn was saying, it's great for your skin long term.
Yes.
Yeah. The most simplistic way is, you know how people say like a lot of acne is caused by stress. Well, if you take away that stress, you might have a few pus pimples.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's like the basis of what it all comes down to.
Yeah.
And I know we always bring up this topic of finding your ideal client, but it is super important of just knowing who your ideal client is, knowing what they want, what services they want. Do they want the energetic healing services? Do they want the chemical peels? Do they want a little bit of both? Like knowing exactly who you're catering to is just going to make it easier and easier to market to those people.
And you're going to find all this out during the consultation. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And another way to avoid kind of miscommunication as far as people booking things that they're like, that they get confused by or they don't know about is making sure you have a good booking site, making sure like your booking site lays it all out. You're able to read descriptions and see what the service is about before you're going. Also posting your pricing. I know some people are weird about posting their pricing. They don't like make it public, stuff like that. Be as transparent as possible. Show people what they're getting into before they're getting into it. And they will have much less chance of disappointment.
Yeah,
if you make it very clear.
Yes, their expectations will be clear coming into their treatment. 100%. So what do you love to do? It's not just about what your clients want, but what do you like to do? So I know Bryn really loves more of the holistic route. Like she just said, she loves having the client experience a shift of energy that makes them relaxed. It brings them peace. And I love more of the instant gratification services. So not just with skincare, but also lashes and brows. I am obsessed when a client comes in and they're like, I need something to go on here. I'm just not feeling myself. Look, you take a 2-hour lash nap, you wake up with a full set of lashes, you get your brows done, you are a whole new woman. And just that expression that the client has after those services, when they look in the mirror, it brings me so much joy.
Yeah. And it's joy is like the good word. Like what brings you joy? What really deeply like fills you up by seeing them? Obviously, all services are fun. Like we're in beauty. Of course, everything's fun. Like brows are fun, lashes is fun, waxing's fun, facials are fun. But what do you really enjoy? Like, what do you really, really get satisfaction out of? And those instant gratification services are really, really good for that fulfillment of self, and then also the fulfillment of the client's like confidence. It's really nice to just see them wake up and be like, oh, I feel so pretty.
Yeah,
like,
that's
it's just
exactly
so nice.
it. They feel beautiful, and to help them get to that feeling is just. It's everything.
It is everything.
It's everything.
Love this job. Another thing that I like to talk about as far as like finding your lane is branding your aesthetics business. So like defining your brand identity. Who are you? What are you trying to represent? What are you trying to bring to the table? I know we keep bringing that up, but like, who are you? What makes you different from other estheticians? What's going to make you stand out? And it doesn't have to be this crazy thing. It can be something really minor. It can be your personality.
I feel like personality is like the main thing. And actually in our previous episode with Megan Quinn, we did talk about how branding as a individual stylist or an individual esthetician or cosmetologist, branding is everything right now. And it mainly stems from social media. You give people a visual and you want people to understand what you have to offer through that visual, through that one picture, through that one video. And really putting your own personality into it is what's going to sell it. And that's what's going to draw in clients and customers that they like your personality. They're drawn to you, not just your service.
I have some clients that I already know, like the lashes are like a bonus. Like like we're just hanging out.
Here. Exactly.
We're just chilling.
Exactly.
But you're right. Using social media is like the craziest. We're in like the craziest time as far as free access to like promoting yourself, and being able to use social media effectively is so important. One of the things is creating a cohesive like visual aesthetic, like knowing your colors, knowing your filter presets. Right.
Why don't you kind of talk about like DeCourcy Beauty Lounge's page? Like, what is your theme? Give a little insight on how you created that.
Okay, so I've like transitioned a bunch though. So like we were like all pink, we were like really girly, like the neon lights, like all that stuff. And that if you scroll back on my Instagram, I never delete anything. Like if you scroll all the way back, you can actually see the transition, the evolving.
That's so cool.
Of the style. But it was really like when we moved into here, when I started to really think like, what ambiance am I going to set that's going to reflect like who I am. And I feel like this space in here is like, if you could go into my brain, like this is what the vibes are. See.
Yeah, you're projecting yourself. No, and I see that 100%. The neutral tones, just how like zen and clean, but it's also like, I just had a word in my head for it. It just, soft.
Soft.
Yes, yeah. Like it's just soft. The patterns, the arches, like everything, like the ambient lighting, like everything is just soft and peaceful in here.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I honestly put so much thought into it. Like as far like all the curvatures you're talking about, like the arches, like I did that on purpose because I feel like in your brain, like curves are softer and it makes you feel,
and it's feminine looking.
It's feminine, it's soft, it's aesthetic. Like I did all the arches, I did even the bench is curvy. Like I chose curved things for a reason. And when people can pick up on that,
I love it. Yeah. It's so satisfying.
It is. But as far as Instagram goes, that's always going to shift for me. Like the aesthetic of Instagram and like knowing what, like we in our team meetings all the time, we're like going over what can you change about your aesthetic? What can you change? Like, how should we lay out our feed? Do you want to do like reel and then post and then reel? Do you want to do lash pick, then whatever? Like, it's
content, baby content.
It's important. So we have content calendars every month. We're filling them out day by day, what content we're posting for that day. One, to hold us accountable, and two, to be able to like really map it out. Like, what am I trying to show people? What am I trying to like portray to people?
And it sounds like it's a lot of work just for social media, but it is so worth it.
It's helpful. To me, it's almost a lot of, it's like more work to not have it be structured and to have to go into it blind and be like thinking in your day to day, like, I forgot to make content. And then try to like rush it. I think it's way easier to actually like plan it out. It saves you time, organized, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
I was like trying not to laugh when you were saying like my thing is soft or whatever. Yeah. It was like our team bonding the other day. We were at dinner and we were talking about like what colors everyone's like vibe is. I was like, if the question was, if you were a color, what color would you be? And tell me why these bitches said I'm brown.
Brown and beige and tan.
I'm like, love that, but like also really?
No, literally. That's just what you think, because that's what you portray.
It's
that's
so
what you,
true.
like,
it's what I wear. It's what I was just dead. So funny. Okay, but yeah, back to reality. So yeah, so using social media is super effective as far as like building your brand, creating a cohesive aesthetic. All that stuff is important. Get inspo from other people if you want. If you want to go on other people's pages, check out what they're doing.
Yeah,
that's a good way.
And this is all a primary way to attract your ideal clientele. But now let's kind of talk about, how do you keep your clientele
once you got them? That is
the loyalty right there.
Yeah, it's hard to cultivate client loyalty sometimes. I feel like for us, it happens somewhat easily because we're building that trust.
Yeah, like we bond with our clients.
Yeah, we have that bond. Like, you know, sometimes our clients come in and they don't talk at all and we're just chilling. They might go to sleep. They might put a podcast on, whatever. Yeah. But sometimes we're having like full trauma dumping sessions.
Yes. Like you get a therapy session with every brow transformation, okay?
Yeah, exactly. So being able to like, again, know your niche, know like what type of thing you are. If you're not someone who wants to, you don't want to hear about any of your clients' problems, then set that precedent and like set the tone as like, I'm kind of more closed off. I'm not going to necessarily tell you about my personal life, my boyfriend, whatever. I'm just going to keep it to myself. Right. Or if you're someone like us who's like, I want to share those things. I want to like develop those relationships with them. Yep. I feel like if you take more of the route we go into, it's a little bit easier to build that client loyalty because they have that element of like trust with you. But I think it all goes back to like understanding their wants. They're not even their wants and their needs, like what they need as a client from you. Yeah. And then like communicating effectively with them and like telling them like, look, if you have something that you don't like about the service, feel comfortable enough to me to tell me that and tell me like,
so we can fix it.
Yeah, like, hey, this lash, I don't like how they're longer on the ends. Can we maybe do this a little differently? Like, we will not take offense to it as long as you're coming in to us in like a respectful way.
Right. Yeah, that is an amazing way to build loyalty, is communication. Clients adore when you communicate with them, and we adore when clients communicate with us. We always are willing to work with you and yeah, fill your needs that way. As long as you tell us what you need, we got you.
And as long as it's within like what we can provide for you.
Oh yeah,
like,
in our lane. Perfect. Yeah.
As long as it's in our lane.
You have to be in our lane in order for us to accommodate you.
Exactly. But yeah, it's all based on trust, communication, and then also little things that you can do like for as a business, I think, is like loyalty cards, referral programs. Like those are good ways to build
perks, you know. And what client doesn't like a good perk?
Exactly. Yeah. Just in case anyone's listening that wants some inspo on like what you do for a loyalty card, we do every 10 services, every 10 punches you get 50% off any service, which 50% off is a really good incentive for a lot of people, especially
it's a number
with the high
that
ticket
people
price.
Love.
And you can use it on anything. You can get a 90-minute facial for you know, which is like $160. You can get that half off. Like, it's a pretty good incentive. And we figure on the business side of it, we figure after 10 appointments, like, you deserve 50% off.
100%. Yeah, exactly. And you would think, so I kind of thought a loyalty program, because me personally, whenever I get a loyalty card, I always lose it. Like, and I always forget to bring it in. But I am amazed and so proud of our clients.
I know.
It's actually pretty, it's less often than not than somebody forgets their card. Because they want that 50% off.
Yeah, they want that. It's worth it. It's definitely worth it. So yeah, just some little things you can do as far as like business side, but just be yourself. Let them openly communicate with you, openly communicate with them, develop that trust, that mutual trust, and they're gonna keep coming back. As long as they're happy, they're gonna come back.
Exactly. And also having confidence, being able to portray that you're confident in the services you're providing is really big, because no client wants to come in and you're kind of stumbling over your words. You're second guessing the opinions you're giving about their skin. Like, they want to see that you're confident in what they're doing, because that's going to make them more comfortable.
Yeah, and that goes back to education, but also like, it's almost like a sales personality in a little bit of a way. You have to be able to like know what you're saying.
You're selling your information.
But if you don't know it, pretty much. But if you don't know what you're saying, like, being able to like almost show that you know what you're saying.
Know what you're saying.
And if you don't know what you're talking about on like a specific, let's say a client comes in and they're having like really bad hyperpigmentation or something that is kind of like out of your scope of comfortability of like knowledge. Be comfortable and confident enough to say, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm going to do research for you and I will get back to you. I will find this out for you.
As long as you tell them that you're going to give them an answer or do the best of your abilities to give them an answer, they're going to appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have to show that you care, even if you don't know exactly the answer. Like, show that that you're going to find it.
That brings us back to like transparency. Being very transparent and open with your client.
Nobody knows everything.
Exactly. Like, and, as long as your client has a good head on her shoulders, she'll understand.
She'll understand, exactly. Another way to keep your clients loyal and keep them coming back is to identify complementary services to offer, especially when you're, like, starting out offering new services.
Yeah, little incentives.
So maybe if you add a high frequency wand, maybe on your next couple facials saying, hey, I see, you have some acne that maybe could use some bacteria zapping. Yes. Let me just throw this in. This is a new device we have. Do the high frequency. Chances are they're going to love it and they're going to want it again at their next facial. Yep. So that's a good incentive to kind of get those people hooked and keep them being loyal, is giving them those little free goodies here and there. And the psychology behind it is like, they're probably going to come back for it. So it's like, It might be free in theory for this time, but it's going to help them.
They're going to come back and pay for it. And I love when I'm doing a custom facial, if I get like that spiritual holistic vibe from a client, I'll pitch them the 90-minute energy healing facial, and maybe I'll do like a little lymphatic drainage or a little cupping at the end of their massage. Even though that's not included in the facial they're priorly getting, they're most likely going to book the $60 more facial next time because of it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think also with the 90-minute facial, it's like, I guess in general, we're never going to recommend you something, us personally, we're never going to recommend you something that you won't like benefit from.
Exactly.
Like, we're not trying to just sell you. I think that that's something that people have always prided us on as well, is that like, we're not here to just be like sales marketers. Like, we're not just trying to like get your dollars and whatever. We're really trying to.
We're doing it for your benefit.
Yeah, we're doing it for you. We just, to make you feel good.
Get an extra buck from it.
Exactly. I mean, it's our job at the end of the day. Like, it's not.
This is our livelihood.
If we did it just for fun, we would be on the street.
Exactly.
So. But yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so a little subtopic off of finding your lane. Once you find your lane, how do you kind of keep going in your lane? How do you like maintain that the momentum that you've found? Yeah, once you've decided like what area you're gonna go in, how can we keep the ball rolling? So not only building a team as far as like your employees, your manager, stuff like that, which we will touch on, but also finding your business team. So a CPA, a marketing manager, a social media manager, like finding out what you need in order to do those things.
To help you build your brand.
Yeah, because some estheticians aren't about social stuff. Like, they're not, I mean, I feel like in this day and age, like, you kind of have to be. But there are some, like, older style estheticians that aren't really into, like, the social media marketing. And if you're not into that, then, you still have to have your CPA and your, accountant, all the finances stuff.
People to take the busy work off your plate.
Right, but if you're not, like, just finding out the exact people that you need to add on your team to make it go efficiently. Specifically for those solo Esties, we're not really talking as much about like going and working as an employee at a salon, more being like in this dynamic where you're
doing your own thing.
Independent, right? I'll just touch on some of the stuff that I find important as far as building a team. So the first thing that is really important is making sure your interview questions and all of that is in check. So really knowing what questions to ask that are going to align with your business. So like you can obviously start by asking very generalized interview questions. You know, who are you? Where are you from? Like, what's your background?
Learn
what's
about
your
them a little bit. Yeah.
But then really getting into like the fun stuff. I know for us, like we ask like, what's your sign? Like we ask like some more kind of fun questions that kind of get the ball rolling in that way, because this dynamic is very important to us that we all like vibe.
Yeah. That we all have not the same personality, but at least we can correlate.
Like we can align in
our values
ways.
align.
Yes, the values super important. So start with a vibe check.
That's a good way to put it.
So you want to check their vibes, see like what kind of, you know, personality they have. Do they seem like they're going to have a lot of bad days where they're going to come in and be super grumpy? Do they seem like they're super happy, positive, happy-go-lucky? Like what, you know, vibe check them and make sure that they're going to align with like you seeing them every day. Because at the end of the day, you're going to see these people every single day. Exactly. You got to like them.
Yeah, exactly. You want to find somebody that meshes well with your personality.
Yeah, and if you're finding like someone on social media, like a social media manager, marketing manager, it needs to be someone that sees your vision of your aesthetic, sees your vision of the long term of your brand.
And understands it and is able to kind of portray it themselves.
Yeah, yep. And then also as far as building a team, as far as like employees go, making sure you know like their short-term goals, their long-term goals.
Yeah.
And those can change, but like making sure you're kind of on the same page with knowing where they're going to go. Are they going to be with you for a long period of time? Are they going to be in and out in 2 years? Like just knowing those type of things I think is really important as well, because you know how to grow with them in that way. If their goal is to start their own, then maybe not getting into, you know, long-term goals with them, maybe going more towards more of the short-term goals and things like that. So yeah, building a team is just a small, you know, part in this whole niche thing, but it is important, especially once you find your lane, then being able to grow the brand and being able to expand it. Right. I think it's really important to just have people around you, whether it's 1 or 2 people or 10 people that get your vision. You can rely on, too. Yeah.
Because being a business owner it's a lot. And it can be extremely overwhelming. And this is another topic that we've dabbled on in past episodes. Being able to ask for help to people that you can trust is very important. Definitely. That goes into building a team 100%.
Definitely. And don't rush when it comes to building your team. Like, let it happen organically. It'll feel right when those people come in. And the good thing is about building like a business team aside from an employee team is once you have those people and you like them, you're good. Like once you have your accountant, once you have your marketing manager, like once you have those things, you're good and you have them and you can rely on them. But don't rush it. Don't like, you know.
Let's talk a little bit about the importance of continuing education. We've mentioned it a few times this episode already, but I just want to strain how important it is to continue learning, especially in such an innovative industry like the beauty industry. There's always new products, new technology, new services, new strategies, and things like that.
It is
never ending.
It's crazy.
Things are always trying to get better. And it's important to stay up to date.
You have to, honestly. It all is about like investing in yourself. So a lot of the times like we think of these courses, and let me just preface by saying there's a lot of money grab courses out there right now. Don't think
everybody has a course.
Everyone has a good course. Like the odds of you taking, and I hate to say this is such a like hot take, but the odds of you finding a good first time lash course is like very slim. Like,
it is very slim.
One, you can't know everything in one day.
Exactly.
So it's like, I mean, to a certain point, like what does the person taking it expect? Do they expect to like take the class and be like a full wizard after and be able to lash in 2 hours? Like, no,
which
that's
unrealistic.
So making sure that your coach or a mentor is setting like realistic expectations, especially when it comes to lash courses specifically. Setting realistic expectations is really important, but it all comes back to like investing in yourself, but making sure your investment is a good one and making sure
do your research, look at reviews, talk to other lash artists that have taken that course maybe, and really understand what you're getting yourself into before dropping $700 on a 4-page packet.
Right.
That shows you nothing.
literally. And it's very common. I mean, I didn't learn much after my first lash course. It took probably about a year of like doing it on my own to really know what I was doing. I mean, probably 2 years, honestly. Like, and the first year is experimenting.
That's the reality of lashes, though, is like you'll get taught, if you find a good lash course and a good mentor, you'll get taught the basics. You'll get taught the safety aspects, the health aspects, all the what ifs, you know, and the basics of like styling, like the different lash types and different eye shapes. Like that's a really good course when it goes into detail like that. But it's going to be hands-on, you doing it yourself, where you really learn and get good at it.
There's so many, when it comes to hair, skin, nails, like everyone's is going to be different. Everyone's texture, hydration levels, like all of that stuff is going to be so different. So yeah, it's all about experience, but knowing, like kind of just knowing what to expect from your course. And also I would recommend anyone that's taking a course to reach out to the mentor or the coach and like have a one-on-one conversation with them before the course and just be like, what does the course exactly offer? What am I going to get out of it? And then kind of building that relationship with them. In my opinion, a lash course instructor should be kind of like an ongoing mentorship. Like they should check in with you in a couple months. And it should be continual. It should be like, hey, how are you doing? Have you had any issues with clients? Like that. It should be like a continuing thing.
It should, to make sure that they're available for any questions that you have in the future too.
Yeah. And if you want just like a PDF course as like a refresher, that's great. But find one that's like under $300. Don't find like a $700 PDF, honestly. It's a scam.
Because you can find those on YouTube for free.
Exactly. And most knowledge is available for free. It just takes work and effort to put it in. But most of the time you can educate yourself on like the smaller topics. However, as far as facials and aesthetics, I think doing continuing ed courses is really important.
It is.
Like,
because that's solid information.
It's really solid information. And in aesthetic school, you're learning like the bare minimum. And I totally get it. It's school. They're trying to get you to pass boards.
And that's it.
But you really have to put in that work, whether it's self-experience, taking continuing ed courses. And now there's like so many courses. Yes, there's a flip side where it's like annoying that there's so many courses, but there's a lot of access to knowledge and a lot of people are really, really good. Like we found a holistic facial course that was amazing. It had so much helpful knowledge in it. It was so put together well. It had so much information, like overload of information, and it was so worth the price. Like so worth the price. And the woman who launched it is very accessible. You can message her, you can talk to her. Like those are the kind of things you want to shoot for.
Yes, you can find her at Skin Obsessed.
Yep, Skin Obsessed. Miss Bethany, she is amazing.
Bethany,
we'll link it in the bottom for anyone that's interested in going more holistic route. I would definitely recommend her course.
Yes. Because we are not gatekeepers over here.
We are not gatekeepers.
Oh, a good factor when it comes to continuing education is you don't have to just learn from courses. You can learn from your peers that are in the same industry. And that's all about being connected to your community and networking.
Yes. Don't be afraid to like reach out and be like, hey, what lash thickness did you use in this set? These are really dense and I really like the look or whatever. Don't be afraid to reach out. I know some people are weird, but my motto of the year is for sure the worst they can say is no.
Exactly. So you can always ask, you know. Yeah, exactly. The worst is that they can gatekeep. But the best thing is they give you every detail of what they use. They send you a link and everything.
Exactly.
They set you up for success.
That's what I do. I always send links. I'm like, here, let me send you the link real quick. And I'll give any information I know because that's what the community is about. Like, isn't that what it's all about? I think people forget. the word community.
Seriously. It's like having a neighbor. Like back in the day, like your neighbor used to be like your best friend. Like you could rely on them for anything. Nowadays, it's a little different.
I don't even know my neighbors.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Sad. That's sad.
No, I highly feel that. But it kind of goes the same with the industry. You just have to kind of put yourself out there and introduce yourself. Tell people what you do. And you're going to find people that do exactly what you do, just differently. And you guys can learn from each other.
Exactly. And you might be able to get some inspiration from them or vice versa. We talked a little bit about like finding a mentor, but I think it's really important to have either, you can break it down to either mentor, business coach. There's a lot of different routes that you can go, I think, with finding a mentor. It could be someone that you just look up to, that you talk to every once in a while. It could be someone you take a course with that might be a business coach that, you know, maps it out. Here's my systems that I'm using. Here's my POS system, like XYZ. But really knowing like what you want, I think I would have benefit from having a mentor. I just felt like there was a lack. I don't know if it's because we have a super small state, but I just felt like there was a lack. When I was first starting, there was a lack of like available mentors. Like I just didn't really have anyone that I necessarily looked up to and wanted to go the route that they were going. I think there's, even if you don't want to do exactly what they're doing, you can get knowledge from them. But I just felt like I didn't really have access to a mentor, and it kind of bothered me sometimes because I'd be like, dang, I wish I had like someone that I could, you know, tell my ideas to, and they could like give me some direction.
Exactly.
But finding a virtual, like you can find them online.
Which is also really convenient. I feel like there's 3 main categories when it comes to a course, no matter if it's in skin, lashes, brows, whatever. You have your in-person, so somebody who is local to you that you can literally shadow and go see, and your course is in person, which I feel like you're going to get the most value from because they're literally right there with you. They show you exactly what you need.
Exactly.
And then there's the virtual, so somebody who is over Skype or FaceTime video chatting you, they can see you, you can see them, they can see your work, they can give you critiques, which is also really good and helpful. We did a course like that, and it was helpful. We were successful in it. And then the third one is when it's literally just a PDF, maybe some instructional videos, which isn't the route I would suggest to go. You definitely want to have a live person to talk to.
Yeah,
definitely.
You want like a little bit of both. You know? And it's really depending. Like if you're 10 years into your aesthetics career and you're just looking to like revamp your knowledge, or you know, learn some more about holistic aesthetics, learn some more about chemical peels, whatever, then a PDF might be fine because you already have that like experience under your belt. But I think as far as learning something new, you got to get the hands on. You got to have at least a mentor to like virtually watch you at that. That's like the bare minimum, is to like put your phone up and have them like watch you do the service. But overall, it's just going to be better to do an in-person.
Agreed.
And just get that, you know, hands-on experience for sure.
Agreed. It's more personable that way too.
So those are more Esty courses, like more beauty business courses. There's also some business courses that you can take that are really, really helpful as far as learning the basics of how to run a business. If you don't have someone in your family or close friends to you that has a business or has ever run a business, it's very foreign and you feel so like lost and confused. It's a whole new world. And if you don't have parents that have, or like elders that can give you those like tips of knowledge and like those things about business, and this is how you do your taxes and this is how you do this, which most people don't unfortunately have those leaders in their life, take a business course, find a course that maps it out. Just like I would look specifically for beauty business courses just because it's a little niche, but finding those courses and like accepting that knowledge, and also doing your own research of what's a business plan? How can I write a business plan? What things do I need to know in order to make this business successful?
It's all about setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, and
the more knowledge you have.
Yeah, and if you start your business and have the systems down, you're going to be way better off than starting and like figuring it out along the way, which obviously naturally you're going to do a little bit, but it's better to have as much knowledge as you can going into a business.
Have a basis.
Okay, so today was A lot of good business Esty knowledge. I think we covered a lot of stuff. We covered the importance of continuing education, how to know your worth, deciding your value, what lane are you in, what niche are you in. We talked a little about building teams, lots of good stuff. Lots of goodies. Stuff. We would love anyone's feedback that's listening right now. If you guys want to send us some feedback on, you know, the type of stuff that you like hearing about, stuff that you might be like, blah, this is a little boring.
Right.
We would love to hear your guys' feedback.
Or any topics that you do want to hear that we haven't covered yet. That would be really fun. We're always open to new ideas. Yeah. I hope you guys got a lot of value from this episode, and maybe we even inspired somebody to be an Esty themselves. Yeah. Who knows? Yay.
Come join us. It's fun over here.
Literally. So I think it's time to close out with our affirmation.
Perfect. I can't wait for today. I really I don't know, I'm just feeling a good one today.
Yeah, right.
As if any of them are bad.
They always correlate with our episodes and like the guests we have on. It's pretty crazy.
Crazy, actually.
It always matches the themes. So Miss Bryn, I'll let you do the honors. Okay. What we got?
I am growing beautifully, patiently, and purposefully.
Oh, beautiful.
That's sweet. I love that.
I love it too.
I feel like that really resonates with our episode today because it's all about kind of growing patiently and purposefully, and whether it's building a team or finding your lane, like not rushing it, being patient with the process, being patient with like this road we're on, this road we're going on.
Understanding that as long as you keep the ball rolling, you are exactly where you're meant to be and you're going to get to where you want to get.
Yep. Love it. And I did just want to say happy almost spring. Is it technically spring?
It's spring.
Okay. Yeah. Well, happy spring to everyone. We just had April 1st, which is just so crazy. But I feel like this spring is going to bring in a lot of new energy, a lot of
it's a time of growth.
Positive vibes. I just feel good about it.
I do too. I'm excited for the spring. Renewal.
Yes,
that's
yes.
the theme.
And then again, follow us if you didn't already. Follow us on our TikTok and Instagram at Esty Besties Podcast. My personal at DeCourcy Beauty, at DeCourcy Beauty Lounge.
And mine is at MKM Beauty Bar.
We love you guys so much. Thank you guys for tuning in again. If you're still here, you are the best.
You are. You made it through.
You made it through. And we hope we set you guys up for a really good rest of your day. Thanks again.
We'll see you next episode.
Love you.
Bye.